Now we can go ahead and start our application and test it out. And when we look at the logs here, we can see that we have all of these constructor print line statements here for baseball coach, cricket coach, and so on. So notice here, all the beans are created at application startup. Now let's go ahead and mark the track coach as lazy. I'll open up my track coach implementation here, and I'll simply annotate it with the lazy annotation. Alrighty, and so now when we run our application again, we should see this output here: baseball coach, cricket coach, tennis coach. And notice, since we're not injecting the track coach, it is not initialized. It's lazy. That's the person that says, hey, call me only if you really need me. If you don't need me, I'm not going to just show up and do nothing. All right, great. So that's how lazy works out. Now let's go ahead and set up lazy initialization on a global scale or global configuration here. And we can set that up in our application.properties file. And let me kind of zoom in here for a second, and I'll give the actual property spring.main.lazy initialization equals true. And remember that all beans are lazy. No beans are created until needed, including our demo controller. Now let's zoom out here and let's go ahead and run our application and test it out. And then our application is up and running. Notice there were no log statements or print line statements for any of our beans because they weren't constructed yet or needed. They're all lazy, including our demo controller. Now, if we go ahead and hit this endpoint, then it's actually going to reference our demo controller and also its dependencies accordingly. So swinging back over here into our IDE and looking at the logs, we see that we're in constructor for cricket coach and also in constructor for demo controller. So for dependency resolution, Spring creates an instance of the cricket coach first, then it creates an instance of the demo controller and injects that cricket coach. Alrighty, so now you kind of see how the lazy initialization works out and also kind of how Spring is doing some of the work behind the scenes. Alrighty, so that's how it all works out. This looks really good and I'm happy. I like to say, good job, my friend.